last speaker of today's session, Dr. Archana Chaudhary. She is here with an interesting topic, relevance of environment and forensic sciences. Isn't that interesting? So far, we have seen the recent trends, new technologies, as well as the psychological aspects, and even the loopholes of forensic sciences were the areas where we have to improve and all. So now we are going to learn about the environmental aspects as well. So I would like to welcome Dr. Archana Chaudhary. She's an assistant professor in the Department of Environmental Science, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Trichindri University, Gurugram. She has 14 years of professional experience, including teaching, research, and administration. Her major research areas included environmental toxicology, biochemical toxicology, bio-nanotoxicology, and environmental ethics. She is a member of various academic bodies as well as the reviewer of reputed journals. She has guided more than 20 projects, including one of them from ICMR and to MPhil thesis as well. So let's welcome. I welcome you, ma'am, Dr. Archana Chaudhary, to the stage.
All.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks, Anju, for giving such a nice introduction to my topic. And whenever we enter any area, we just ask the first question, how was the environment? And I think that's the major relevance and this subject whole. And environment, it is not a single area or anything like that, but it is in a complex way, and where many things interact with each other, out of which we are unknown to so many things. And in forensic science, when we are talking about toxicants and toxicology, or how these cases are coming up and we have to deal with the evidences, we can't ignore the environmental aspects, and we have to consider them in our mind. Dr. Anju, will you be sharing my presentation, or let me share my own?
If you have you shared the slide with JAX Foundation, ma'am?
Okay, I'm just sharing from my screen.
Okay.
When we talk about environment, earlier we used to consider only two components, that is biotic and abiotic components, and all of you are aware of these biotic and abiotic components, as you all with the forensic part in which we study biology and other aspects also. And when we consider these two aspects, now there is a third aspect, as Anuja ma'am has already mentioned in his presentation and in discussion, that there are many loopholes which are left in between, which are due to these differences. Just move to the next slide. Next. And when we apply these concepts of environment, which include both biotic and abiotic components, here we used to utilize the application of chemistry and geology to study contaminants and determine their origin. But something we are missing in that, when we are taking the evidences from the site and taking it to the labs, they are when we are performing the work on these contaminants or the evidence, there is lot which is missing, because in a lab that is in a controlled condition, but the area of scene where the crime has happened, that has other factors which have also interfere with the evidences. And for considering those evidences, we have to seek in a holistic manner. And for this, we have to utilize our skills from the environment and other aspects. And in this various fields which are coming up, and doing the part in a holistic manner, so that these can be moved on and we can have a concise, comprehensive report about that evidence. And when we talk about these biotic and abiotic components, earlier we used to have biotic living organisms, and we are considering more on that, and we are discussing those components, which type of species or anything else was there. But the microbes which are already present in our body or in the environment, they were not as important as in earlier cases, but now they also plays an important role, and we cannot ignore those parts. And same is the case with these abiotic. When we earlier in 2000, approximately in 2002 or 2003. There was a lot of havoc about these pesticides which came into the drinking water and in the drinks, and they pose a lot of threat. But now recently a report has been released by the FICCI and other FDA, which is mentioned that these metals which are there in the soil, and in some areas there the contamination with the metal is very high, and which is changing the scenario. And same is the way with the where which we have to deal with, and these are the some little loopholes which we have to come up with. And we have, when we are investigating and seeing, we have to think about of these components, and in detail we will be able to identify only if we know their composition, and what is their lethal dose, and at what level they are causing harm to the means human body or anything on which we are working on. Then we have to study it in a complex way, because when we are talking about that soil is contaminated, we can't say that water is not contaminated, because the soil, the water which is coming from the soil as a runoff from that part, that also contains those toxicants, those these contaminants, and when that is consumed, it also poses lots of issues with the body and other things. And one of the, when we talk about this metal toxicity, it is when we consider these metals and their toxicity, they are considered as a slow poison, because you are giving just a single dose is accumulating in the body. In long way, it can prove fatal to the person. And we have to be very specific when we are thinking of these suicidal or accidental cases where they used to consume these pesticides, and sometimes it happens that they consume without knowingly, and sometimes they want to be perform that part, and that's way they are consuming it, and in some cases they have this just accidental. So we have to think and elaborate these components in the present scenario, and we have to find it out how overall environment was there when we collect these samples. Ma'am, next slide please. Now when we talk about environmental forensic, I must say it is just part of the forensic science, and a very little component is there, but it plays a major role in collecting the evidence and in giving the evidence for a case. When we talk about these environmental forensic, it can be defined as a methodology which is developed for identifying potential hazardous environmental contaminants and for determining their source and time of release. As earlier I'm talking about this metal toxicity, we have to find it out from where the source is, whether it is given accidentally or someone is putting it there, and at what time they are getting released into the environment. And when we just identify these components, we have to combine experimental analytical procedures for finding out. When there are some contaminants which are persisting in the nature, and if a person is aware that it is persisting in the nature and can harm the organism after some time, and he just give that toxicant to that person and leave the area, and there then we have to identify and how that substance is affecting, or if it is given in any kind of formulation, which may be a dry formulation or with water or anything else. And when we are, you being the forensic expert, you have to be very specific how these contaminants are coming from, means what is their source, or how they are affecting the organism. Sometimes it happens everyone is having its own immune system, own resistance. You have to match with that, and if you know there are some loopholes and you know the person personally, then you know where what food he is having or what kind of clothes he is wearing, and you use that information and creating a crime. And for that, these environmental forensic needs to be more specific, and not only in a particular aspect, but they have to see it in a holistic manner so that they can conclude accordingly, and their statement should be in such a way that it doesn't go against. And in that, some provisions are made by the government also, that they are considered as an evidable evidence in case of environmental legal disputes, where these are considered. Ma'am, can we have the next slide? Yeah. This is there where environmental forensic scientists have to be valuable professionals, because they are not only dealing with the health, but they are also dealing with the public health and the environment. How public health and environment, as I just spoke the example of that metal toxicity which we are facing nowadays, and especially in those areas where the solid waste is increasing day by day, and there is lot of pressure to decompose that in other parts. And when we talk about this environment, everyone knows that environment is contaminated. Everyone knows that there are pollution in the environment, and that problem is not of the higher society. This is the problem of common person or the layman. And when we talk about this environment, we are considering it as a tragedy of common, or a TOC, and that's the reason this has been neglected earlier. And now this environment, it plays a very important and crucial role in everything. As in when we discuss about these sustainable development goals, they considered these goals that they are interdependent and interrelated, and they have to be very specific when considering the environment. And without the consideration of environment, nothing can be sustained. And in the same way that this forensic science, it is emerging as a very new, and I won't say a new, very lucrative profession nowadays, as most of the we have observed this pandemic, and in this pandemic, cyber crime has increased, and it has put a lot of experts to how to deal with this. And so contamination, these are the collateral damage. I'm not going in the detail, as I have got very less time for the interaction with others. I'm just giving an outline, but I want to say so that you may understand the importance of environment in dealing the cases of this forensic. Ma'am, next slide, please. And when we talk about medical legal aspects of toxic injury on an environmental side or an organism, there are certain events which has to be going one by one, and we have to be very specific how they are going. Means if they have consumed this pesticide, we have to see whether it is a persistent pesticide, it is already there or not, what is the half-life, and how it is affecting the organism's health or affecting the this environment. And this we have came across about these contaminants from the book Silent Spring, which prove a breakthrough in the use of these pesticides after Green Revolution, because the use of these pesticides after Green Revolution has become a major problem, and it is affecting, and other things are also going on, and we are working on that part, so that if we consider the environment and it can change these things. And ma'am, next slide, please. I'm just going. This is some of these synthetic pesticides which are considered as persistent organic pollutants has been banned, but still detected in ecosystem due to their biomagnification or due to their persistent level, and their movement from these contaminants. They are not moving through the soil or water, you can say, but through air drift also. They are moving from one area to another and posing problem from there. And now this CPOD, which is coming in a major problem. And last year, one of the case has been identified and registered in India as a death due to this pollution. And before that, there was no provision, and I think some legal person must have given you that input, and maybe in the next session. And so we have to consider it a major component environment, and we have to work in that direction so that things can be changed, and we can get proper evidence in that direction. And for this, we need a holistic approach to solve and reconstruct the crime scene, as I already discussed. Ma'am, please, next slide. As I already discussed, when we are considering a crime scene and testing it or recreating the evidence, especially in case of labs, if we are recreating the scene at that area only, then there is no issue. But if we are recreating the scene, or we are recreating these toxicants and seeing their effects in the lab, then we have to be very specific about the temperature, about the outside consideration, and what were there. I know that I'm having a bit less time. I just finishing in this, and these pollutants, they are ranking through different modes and cannot be studied in isolation. So we have to consider the environment as a whole, and the major component which can focus on different aspects, maybe on climatology or the temperature and anything else which is relevant to that part crime scene. And we have to further discuss on the ways how these are interacting when they are providing, because these environment, it is actually a complex system, and we cannot ignore another aspect. We can't say that is a microclimate and it's not affecting the crime scene. So we have to consider it and in a holistic way. Next slide, please. And this environment, now we are using the word pollution more compared to the environment, because everything which we are seeing or which we are observing, that in my mind it is there that it is pollution and it is polluted, and everything that is polluted has its own impact, whether it's coming from the dumping site or whether it is a toxicant, maybe from the chemicals or from the industry. It is sometimes posing due to the nuclear. We have a case in Delhi laboratory where a worker was got accidentally exposed to the nuclear chemical, and later on a case was filed, and we have to concentrate on that how that explosion and how that nuclear hazard has put in pressure. And in previous era, we have seen lots of glimpse of these pollution induced problems, and which are sometimes it happens that in environmental scenario we are using illegal ways, and and that is a very common practice, that if we want to cut a tree and we want to have something there, we just put some toxicants or some chemicals in the roots of the tree, and that tree eventually get degrade, and we have to move further, and we say that earlier there was no as such, and that affect us. And same way pathogenic, we have discussed, we have faced this pandemic where these virus, they have affected a lot, and same way these pathogens and the microbes, they are affecting. So we have to be very precise in considering their environment and how they flourish and how their reproducing, and how they are affecting, and how they are altering if we are putting pathogens in one way or the another in food or anything else, then we have to be very specific and how we can collect it. And these chemicals, they are coming from the industries, and in the industrial area, especially in those areas where lots of industries are there, we have to be very conscious, and we have to see which chemicals are releasing in the environment, which are directly or indirectly affecting the laymen. That's why it is considered as a tragedy of common, because common person is not aware from where he is getting the contamination or from where he is getting the toxicant in his own body. And that's the reason little less focus is there on the environmental aspect. And because now we have to focus on it, and we have to be specific on it. And these, I'm going to discuss more, and but just in a nutshell, I must say that environment is a complex system, and when we have to be specific on any kind of evidence, we have to consider its environment. We have to consider the environment, the scene where the environment plays a major role, and how this role is changing. So that's the just I'm having 1, 2, 3 cases, but I think the time is going on, so I must conclude my session here. And thank you for all for having patience and listening to this different topic. And be a forensic scientist, you have to consider in your mind, but can be thought of to get innovation in this way, because you cannot create a whole environment, a natural environment in a lab, and it's very difficult and maybe very expensive. So you have to just figure it out how these environmental factors, they can be changed, and because when these different factors they combine together, they may prove synergistic or antagonistic effect, and we have to be focused on that. Any question from any side, I will be happy to share. Just
Any participants have any questions? I hope they are updating the questions, ma'am. And thank you so much for your speech. That was really an area which we have never thought before. The toxicity, microbes, and the medical legal aspects, and how it's affect our human life also, and the forensic and crime forensic investigation. So, and also which it is also reminding us that it's a high time to prioritize our duties for saving our Mother Earth from being polluted.
yes, we are considering this environment as a tragedy of commons, and we have to now be specific on this, okay, how we can resolve it, and we have to be very specific about that.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for enlightening us and reminding us about our duties that we have to do.
We have to save our environment. Ma'am, if you have some time, is it possible? Just I want to share a small video.
Okay.
Is it?
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. We can share.
I think some the issues there I'm not able to present it from my side. And just this video is just showing. I'm just giving it in a.
So you can explain.
Yeah, this video is showing that a tap is running, and villagers and other person are going from there. And later on, a monkey came, and he just drank the water. And after drinking the water, he closed the tap.
Which means they are more responsible. They have their duty.
Yeah. Same way we have to be responsible, because when we are talking about, because they are also facing the problem, and that's why they realize that closing the tap is an important, because they are also need water and they feel thirst. And we are just human, we are intelligent, we seem to, yes, we are intelligent and we can do anything, and we can have advancement and techniques, but there you have to be very specific, because we have to consider our environment as a first priority. That's there.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So I would just like to thank Archana ji. Archana ji, it was such an insightful talk, and basically it really helps us as a lawyers, because sometimes when we're talking to this, we explain it in the code of law. This is when we talk about the evidences which are really important to be, if the body or the disease of the body is outside, in the outside of the vicinity, and how the environment plays a major role. And sometimes it is just an accidental death, and we're trying to frame someone from that side. So the toxicology is really important, because when we're recreating a scene, that is when it is required that you experts should be there and doing your job correctly. Because the problem is, not many people are nowadays in pandemic. I have heard that a lot of webinars has happened. You know, they have connected from outside because of the, lot of problem with the monetarily factor. So that is why it was not been happening. But I think pandemic, I think will bring a little bit of change, because what we need is a constant research.
Yeah.
And a constantly you talk, have a connection with international forensic sciences, and from there they can also talk about it. So I think, thank you so much. And I have just asked Shraddha to I can take up your your insight, your slide to me, and it's so good, because I'll keep reading all these things, and it really helps us in the code of law. Thank you so much, Archana ji.
Thank you, Anju ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anisha ma'am, for sharing your slides. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Anything? Yeah, sure, ma'am. Just have a good day and all the best for your next sessions, and the best wishes for all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for coming and joining for this session.
Thanks for providing a platform to interact with forensic experts, I must say, and to give them a platform so that they can also think in a different direction. And now it's the time that we all come together to solve the problem of commons. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anju.
Thank you. So that's the end of today's sessions.